We're just allowing a minute or two to get some of our guests seated at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entry of the Deputy Governor General.
Eternal Father, bless our land. Guard us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil powers. Be our light through countless hours. To our leaders, great defender, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love. Teach us true respect for all. Stir response to duty's call. Strengthen us, the weak to cherish. Give us vision, lest we perish. Knowledge sends us, Heavenly Father, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love.
Let us pray. O God, you ordained from the very beginning that the soul of an individual could be and should be sustained by a word and words that communicates an idea and a reality, that both the human heart and mind can search for many depths of meaning over time and change circumstances. We thank you, O Lord, that the gift of words have enabled us to capture countless realities, explore human feelings, tell the history of a people, and provide us with hope for a better future. O Lord, such is the experience of the power of words put together in a form called poetry, that in your wisdom it occupies a central place in our conversation with you and with each other through the book of Psalms. This form of expression, O God, called poetry, and the human agent, the poet, who makes it come into being, have been blessed by you as diverse lands utilize this art form to tell their own unique story for the good of their own citizens and for the world. And so today, as we celebrate this phenomenon, we give you thanks for the poets and especially the poet laureates that Jamaica has produced. We pray that this investiture ceremony will continue to endue your servant, Professor Kwame Dawes, with those spiritual gifts that will give his words soul to speak truth to our issues and encouragement to our spirit. that we may tell our story with courage for this age and the ages to come. We pray this in the name of Christ, who brings words to life. Amen.
Please be seated. The Honorable Stedman Fuller, CD, JP, Deputy Governor General, the Honorable Olivia Grange, OJ, CD, MP, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Her Excellency High Commissioner Judith Slater, British High Commissioner to Jamaica, Professor Kwame Dawes, CD, Poet Laureate of Jamaica 2025 to 2028, Mr. Dean Roy Bernard, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Dr. Kassan Troop, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. Ms. Joy Douglas, OD, Chairman, Board of Management, National Library of Jamaica. Mr. Everton Hanam, Secretary General, Jamaica National Commission for UNESCO. Professor Emeritus Mervyn Morris, First Poet Laureate of Jamaica, Post-Independence 2014 to 2017. Ms. Olive Senior, Third Poet Laureate of Jamaica, Post-Independence 2021 to 2024. Ms. Justine Hensel, Chair of the Poet Laureate Committee. And please allow me to welcome at this time family members of Professor Dawes. Mrs. Adoja Dawes, sister. Mr. Kojovi Dawes, brother. Mr. Bruce Paulson, brother-in-law. Ms. Janelle Paulson, niece, and Abigail Dawes, niece. Ladies and gentlemen, J.E.C., that is Jamaica College, has been represented here this morning in a very special way because our soon-to-be invested Poet Laureate is a former student of Jamaica College, and the current principal is here to see that everything runs well. Not only is he here, that is Mr. Wayne Robinson, but he informed me that he and the Poet Laureate went through school together at Jamaica College, from first form right through. They were part of the Cadet Corps, and in addition to that, they were the opening batting partners for Jamaica College. I think we need to put our hands together for this bit of information. The young man who sang the national anthem is in third form at Jamaica College. You'll have seen on your program, he's Tyler Buckner, and he was accompanied by his music teacher from Jamaica College, Romero Lewis. Let's put our hands together for Jamaica College. And now, it gives me great pleasure to ask the chairman of the Board of Management of the National Library of Jamaica, Ms. Joy Douglas, to officially welcome you. Madam.
Thank you. The Honorable Stedman Fuller, CD, JP, Deputy Governor General. The Honorable Olivia Grange, OJ, CD, MP, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Her Excellency High Commissioner Judith Slater, British High Commissioner to Jamaica. Professor Kwame Dawes, CD, Poet Laureate of Jamaica for the period 2025 to 2028. Mr. Dean Roy Bernard, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Dr. Kassan Troop, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. Mr. Everton Hanam, Secretary General, Jamaica National Commission for UNESCO. Professor Emeritus Mervyn Morris, First Poet Laureate of Jamaica, Post-Independence 2014 to 2017. Ms. Olive Senior, 3rd Poet Laureate of Jamaica, Post-Independence 2021 to 2024. Ms. Justine Hensel, Co-Chair of the Poet Laureate Committee. And I would like to acknowledge Mrs. Ball, the widow of our dear Edward Ball, who is here with us today. Professor Ball would have loved to see this. I'm taking a little prerogative here, and I'm very happy to see her. And of course, we will also acknowledge Mrs. Doja Dawes, Mr. Kojovi Dawes, Mr. Bruce Paulson, Miss Janelle Paulson, and Abigail Dawes, all family members of the incoming Poet Laureate. Good morning, all, and a big welcome to the investiture ceremony for the Poet Laureate of Jamaica, Professor Kwame Dawes, for the period 2025 to 2028. This investiture ceremony is graciously hosted by the Honorable Stedman Fuller, Deputy Governor General, and we thank him. Today is of great importance to the National Library of Jamaica, as for several years now, we have singled out Jamaican poetry in the national collection for special attention, primarily through the Poet Laureate of Jamaica program. Today marks the investiture of the 4th Poet Laureate of independent Jamaica. Since the revival of the Poet Laureate program in 2014, we have invested 3 distinguished literary masters in the persons of Professor Emeritus Mervyn Morrison, OM, for the period 2014 to 2017, Ms. Lorna Goodison, CD, for the period 2017 to 2020, and of course, our outgoing Poet Laureate, wonderful work, Ms. Olive Senior, 2021 to 2024, and a special shout out to Ms. Senior. They all developed and implemented innovative means of taking Jamaican poetry from the page to communities at home and abroad. And in the case of Ms. Senior, she had to grapple with COVID-19 and the need for the use of technology or the virtual space to communicate during her tenure. So she really was trailblazing in terms of how she implemented her program. Poetry is woven into the seams of our great nation. The National Library of Jamaica is mandated to not only be the keeper of Jamaica's heritage, but to educate present and future generations to come. We firmly believe that our Poet Laureate plays a pivotal role in encouraging our present and future leaders to use this expressive form to achieve personal and communal growth and development. Today's ceremony honors Professor Dawes and his extraordinary literary accomplishments. We are confident that his tenure as Poet Laureate will add new and exciting dimensions to the program. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I extend a warm welcome on behalf of the National Library of Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I mentioned the Jamaica College gathering here, but I should also have mentioned that the chaplain of Jamaica College is who brought our prayer this morning. This is, of course, Canon. Thank you so very much for being there, Canon Father Michael Allen. And now, Minister, it's your turn. Could we welcome the Honorable Olivia Grange, OJ, CD, MP, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport, to bring her greetings.
Yes. Honorable Stedman Fuller, CD, JP, Deputy Governor General, Her Excellency High Commissioner Judith Slater, British High Commissioner to Jamaica, Professor Kwame Dawes, CD, Poet Laureate of Jamaica 2025 to 2028. Mr. Dean Roy Bernard, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Dr. Kesson Troop, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. Ms. Joy Douglas, COD, Chairman, Board of Management, National Library of Jamaica. Mr. Everton Hannam, Secretary General, Jamaica National Commission for UNESCO. Professor Emeritus Mervyn Morris, first Poet Laureate of Jamaica, post-independence, 2014 to 2017. Ms. Olive Senior, third Poet Laureate of Jamaica, post-independence, 2021 to 2024. Ms. Justin Hensel, Chair of the Poet Laureate Committee of the National Library of Jamaica. I want to also acknowledge family members of Professor Dawes who are present here this morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Ms. Lou would say, thank you. Good morning. I also want to acknowledge the opposition spokesperson, Mrs. Deborah Hickling Gordon. She's the opposition spokesperson on culture and the creative industries. My counterpart, I always say my shadow. It is good to be present and celebrating the investiture of Professor Kwame Dawes as Poet Laureate of Jamaica on this 22nd day of January 2025. Poetry has long been an essential part of our nation's cultural heritage. Its rhythm, or we would say in Jamaica, its rhythm, and its capacity to express what is deeply embedded in our Jamaican identity. It is the job of the Poet Laureate, therefore, to stimulate appreciation for poetry. One of the things he or she must do is to present public poetry, related seminars, readings, and promotions. The title of laureate has come to signify recognition for preeminence or superlative achievement. And so, I must commend the legacy left and built upon by all poet laureates of this great nation. I would ask you and invite you to applaud them. Now, from early on in his career, Professor Dawes demonstrated a unique flair for writing, which easily made him a significant voice in contemporary literature. Born in Ghana and raised in Jamaica, he represents the convergence of two dynamic worlds. Through his words of poetry, we hear echoes of our ancestors, struggles, and the triumphs of our people, as well as an unyielding search for hope that defines the human spirit. Indeed, he has given a voice to stories of those within the Caribbean and Africa, who are often unheard. In 1994, his first book of poems, A Progeny of Air, won the Forward Prize for the best first collection, and since then has been recognized in numerous ways, including an Emmy Award for new approaches to news and documentary programming, arts, lifestyle, and culture, 2009. Lecturing in several universities across the United States, Professor Dawes also cemented his role as a mentor. He currently serves as a faculty advisor at Pacific University in Oregon for the Master of Fine Arts program, where he continues to guide and inspire emerging writers. Professor Dawes is also one of the co-founders of the Calabash International Library Literary Festival, held biannually right here in Jamaica. And as minister, I'm truly proud of this festival, as it shows tremendous promise and has the potential to bring together various sectors through the common love for the literary arts. Professor Dawes' work, often delving skillfully into themes of identity, resilience, and the rich tapestry of Jamaican life, makes him a fitting ambassador for the nation's literary voice. Now, as an accomplished poet, playwright, and novelist, Professor Kwame Dawes brings unparalleled depth of experience and insight to this position of Poet Laureate of Jamaica. With his illustrious record of achievements, courageous writing, unwavering dedication, mentorship, and service to the nation, as minister, and certainly the team at the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport wholeheartedly recommends Professor Kwame Dawes to the Governor General of Jamaica for the esteemed honor of being conferred with the nation's highest literary title as Poet Laureate of Jamaica. I take this opportunity as well to commend the team at the National Library of Jamaica for the work being done in the continued development of the Poet Laureate Programme and, by extension, Jamaican literature. Please applaud them. As you all know, the National Library of Jamaica is our repository for priceless information about our people and our heritage. Recently, in 2024, the National Library of Jamaica received the Jamaica Reparations Movement Archive, donated by reparations advocate Barbara Blake Hanna. This is an excellent addition, and in the coming years, I hope to see continued growth in the collections as well as in the number of legal deposits from our writers of fiction and nonfiction material. So I invite all those who are here who have collections or know someone with collections, please encourage them to donate them to the National Library of Jamaica. I'm also pleased to indicate here this morning that plans are in the pipeline. I don't like to use the word pipeline, but you will understand what I mean. Plans are advancing for the construction of a new purpose-built library, which will see an upgrade in some of its facilities and an advancement in its processes. And I'm looking forward, and I'm sure you're all looking forward to that. I look forward to the next phase of our work, which will make the project a reality. And as minister, and certainly the ministry, the team at the ministry and the library remain steadfast in support of all the initiatives that are being carried out by the board and the staff at the National Library. My heartiest congratulations again to Professor Kwame Dawes on his selection as Poet Laureate for the period 2025 to 2028. Truly well deserved. So as we congratulate him, the ministry looks forward to the programs he will come up with to champion national development through the poetic arts. I wish everyone witnessing this investiture ceremony God's richest blessings as we move to accomplish even greater things in 2025. I thank you all for being here this morning, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Minister. You'd have heard her speak of the work of the National Library and led by the National Librarian. We want to just acknowledge you, ma'am, Miss Beverly Lashley, and her team. They are on a drive to get people to lodge their documents, their books, their papers, so that we can have those important records at our fingertips, particularly for people who want to do research, you know, or to find out about your history. And as I look through, please pardon me, I'm seeing Justine Hensel nodding. And I remember 2001. The first Calabash Festival. Am I correct with the date, Justine? 2001. And please allow me to just say there was a play that was performed at that Calabash Festival written by Kwame Dawes. I don't think he was professor at the time, and I had the privilege of acting in as well. So I feel good this morning for many reasons. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce a man who has come from the county of Middlesex to read a poem written by Professor Kwame Dawes, The Prodigal Converses with the Land. So I now invite Mr. Britton Wright, the county of Middlesex, the parish of Manchester.
Good morning. The Prodigal Converses with the Land by Professor Kwame Dawes. Cape Coast. I am a city in translation. What I say to you is not in the language I carry. You will never understand the pidgin of my soil because you are always a foreigner. It is true that your grandmother's bones are interred in me, and I know you hoped that by returning to me, you would hear her speaking. But you must know that even more desperate people have come, asking for some sound to carry through. At least you know that I was named by white people, and they have left the noise of atrocities here, so that when those who come back year after year, instead of speaking of the drama of the ocean beating against the shore, instead of the shouts and songs of the fishermen dragging their catch across the dark sand for the women to collect and take to the market, instead of the clubs, the high life, the scent of bread baking at night, instead of the deep forests that reach the edge of the sea and the way the sun sets on Elmina, instead of this, all they can talk of are the ones who were collected here and taken across the waters, only to return as interlopers, people with foreign tongues who do not understand our language of centuries. We are the Akan. We are warriors, the broken companies of the Ogua. This means nothing to you. What you know is the smell of algae in the gutters and the way the brine in the lagoons thickens in the air. The addiction to akara and the tart heat of pepper and the tomba of the mortar and pestle. The familiar sounds of heart and hearth. These are the things that you will talk about. Places of nostalgia, of home. But all places know themselves by the blood that has been shed there. The sadness that will always haunt the laughter of this place. Here is that church where your mommy, the Pentecostal woman, found her own Jesus, saw the coil of a python on the heavy shoulder of her daughter, your mother, and they cast out the demon curse on her, freed her from what would have consumed her. She was young then, the age of your youngest daughter, but she remembers. Chachu remembers. Kwame, I know that the invention of memory, the silence before memory is made, the imagined comfort of language, though failing every time, though betraying my inner head and liver, is what I have, is what we all carry. I lied when I said I found the translation of this land into something like a nation, or home, or comfort, or the spirits of ancestors. I lied. And still I will say to you who stand at the gates of this village, tell Mommy, her grandson, the one she teased, tell her he is asking to be let in, and he is craving her fresh-baked bread. The Prodigal Converses with the Land by Professor Kwame Dawes.
If you go on YouTube, you'll find Britton Wright reading a number of poems, so you can become a little bit more acquainted with him. But I believe he's also a member of the Poetry Society of Jamaica. Yes? So it's a wonderful morning thus far, and now it gives me great pleasure to invite the Deputy Governor General to bring his investiture remarks. So I welcome the Honorable Stedman Fuller, CD, JP, Deputy Governor General of Jamaica.
The Honorable Oliver Grange, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports, Her Excellency High Commissioner Judith Slater, British High Commission to Jamaica, Ms. Joy Douglas, Chairman, Board of Management, National Library of Jamaica, Professor Kwame Dawes, Poet Laureate, Permanent Secretaries, Mr. Dinoir Bernard and Dr. Casson Troop, and I couldn't leave out Miss Justin Hansel, my colleague. Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good morning to you all. Good morning to you all. It is with great pride and profound honor that we gather here today to celebrate the investiture of the esteemed Professor Kwame Dawes as Poet Laureate. This marks an exciting chapter in the continued evolution of Jamaican poetry, a legacy that has long been defined by poets who have used their words to uplift, challenge, and inspire. The Poet Laureate Programme in Jamaica, which began in 2001, is managed by the National Library of Jamaica, a department within the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport, and was established to honor the country's rich literary tradition and to recognize the pivotal role that poetry plays in expressing the collective consciousness of the Jamaican people. Through this program, poets are given the opportunity to serve as cultural ambassadors and highlight the importance of the arts in national life. The influence of the Poet Laureate throughout the years has been immeasurable in shaping how Jamaicans view their history, their identity, and their aspiration. So, Professor Dawes, I must commend you on being a remarkable poet, as your work has already earned global acclaim, some of which are the Musgrave Silver Medal for Literature in 2004 and the Order of Distinction in the Commander class in 2022. You are a man of the soil who has been at the forefront of shaping our literary history. Your words have touched lives worldwide through works like Impossible Flying in 2006 and Back of Mount Peace in 2009, as well as featuring in major anthologies like So Much Things to Say 2010, a proud achievement for this small island. Beyond your literary work, you have co-founded the renowned Calabash International Literary Festival, along with Colin Channer and Miss Justine Hensel. Since its inception, this festival has been a vital platform for literary dialogue and creative expression, further cementing your impact on the cultural fabric of Jamaica. Your appointment as Poet Laureate marks the continuation of your remarkable journey in nurturing and celebrating Jamaican poetry. Your extensive body of work, which bridges both Jamaican and international experiences, reflect your deep connection to the Caribbean and your ability to articulate complex emotions with clarity and beauty. As a new Poet Laureate, you will undoubtedly continue to highlight Jamaica on the world stage, bringing new attention to the vibrancy and depth of our cultural and literary life. I cannot continue without highlighting literary giants like Louise Bennett Coverley, affectionately known as Miss Lou, who brought the rhythm, wit, and wisdom of Jamaican patois into the mainstream media. Through her works, Miss Lou immortalized the Jamaican vernacular, not only entertaining, but dignifying it, creating a sense of pride among Jamaicans and ensuring our language was celebrated internationally. Other influential poets such as Michael Cook and Eddie Baugh have continued to contribute to Jamaicans' literary canon. Michael Cook's exploration of Jamaican history and identity, alongside Edward Baugh's scholarly approach to literature, has made profound contribution to both the outstanding of Jamaican culture and the broader Caribbean narrative. Their works have allowed Jamaicans to reflect on their past, celebrate their heritage, and address the complexities of post-colonial life. Through poetry, they have helped us navigate our emotions, whether it be love, confusion, or hope, and have played an instrumental role in the cultural and social development of Jamaica. The importance of poetry in Jamaica cannot be overstated. It serves as a vital means of expressing the full range of human emotions, from the anxieties and uncertainties of life to the overwhelming joy of love and pride in one's heritage. Poetry is a vehicle for understanding our personal and collective identities, especially in moments of tension and change. This is why it is so fitting to honor poets like Miss Lou, Michael Cook, Edward Baugh, and others who have poured their hearts into verse, enriching our lives and bringing the stories of our people to the world. This evening, as we celebrate Professor Ball, we take a moment to reflect on the tremendous legacy of Miss Olive Sr., whose tenure as Poet Laureate concluded in March 2024. Miss Sr. has been a trailblazer in the world of poetry, and her work has been instrumental in inspiring a new generation of writers. Through her leadership in poetry, she has amplified voices that may otherwise have gone unheard, providing a platform for young talent to thrive. Looking to the next 10 years, we see a growing interest among young people in poetry, with more young voices emerging in the literary world. The future of Poet Laureate Programme is bright, with a new generation of Jamaicans eager to contribute their voices and perspectives to the literary landscape. We are entering an exciting time where the fusion of traditional forms of poetry with modern expression will shape how the world views Jamaica's role in global artistic conversation. So in closing, I congratulate Professor Kwame Dawes as he embarks on this new chapter as Jamaica's Poet Laureate. May his poetry continue to inspire, elevate, and give voice to the people of Jamaica as he highlights the island's extraordinary contributions to the arts on the global stage. And to Miss Olive Sr., we offer our deepest thanks for your invaluable service and dedication to the literary community during your tenure. Poetry will always be a powerful means of expressing the emotions that unite us all. And we look forward to the future of this remarkable program. Best wishes to you, Professor Dawes, as you take on this esteemed role for the next 3 years. May your work continue to shine a light on the beauty, strength, and resilience of Jamaica and its people. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Governor General, for your comments. And yes, poetry does inspire. It investigates as well. And we know it just throws you back at you and perhaps parts of you that you're not very comfortable with interrogating. Poetry does that. Poetry does that. And now it gives me great pleasure to ask Andrew Broadbent, a member of the Poet Laureate of Jamaica Committee and the Director of Arts, Development and Training at the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, to present the citation.
The National Library of Jamaica, an agency of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, is pleased to declare Professor Kwame Dawes Poet Laureate of Jamaica for the period 2025 to 2028. A widely acclaimed poet, scholar, musician, and literary figure, Professor Dawes personifies the richness, complexity, and vibrancy of Jamaica's literary legacy. Born in Ghana and raised in Jamaica, Dawes extracts deeply from both cultures, reflecting the intertwined experiences of the Caribbean and Africa with a unique sensory richness. Professor Dawes has built a prolific body of work, garnering critical acclaim across the globe. He has authored over 30 books of poetry, including collections such as Progeny of Air, which in 1994 received the Forward Poetry Prize for Best First Collection, Midland, which won the Holy Summers Poetry Prize in 1999, and Duppy Conqueror awarded the Patterson Prize for Literary Excellence in 2014. Other remarkable collections include Back of Mount Peace, which explores discovery of self, renewal, and love, Resisting the Enemy, which addresses the complexities of being far from home, and the disconnection from culture and custom, Requiem, which gives a fresh approach to the transatlantic slave trade, and Shook Foil, a collection of poems steeped in reggae. His most recent book of poems, Sturge Town, was published in 2024 and offers a profound exploration of his ancestral roots anchored in Sturge Town, St. Anne. Outside the realm of poetry, Professor Dawes has demonstrated his literary versatility with two novels, Bivouac and She's Gone, the latter winning the 2008 Hurston Wright Legacy Award for Best First Novel. Professor Dawes has contributed to the advancement of Jamaican literature through his academic works, editorial projects, and his tireless commitment to fostering new voices. As co-founder of the Calabash International Literary Festival held biannually in Jamaica, he is deeply involved in curating poetry and creating a nurturing space where the stories of the Caribbean are celebrated and where writers from around the world come together to share in the power of storytelling. Additionally, as director of the African Poetry Book Fund, he has poured his leadership into helping poets across the continent grow their skills and garner exposure. This has helped to break barriers and create opportunities for writers of color to thrive within the North American and European literary landscape, improving their publishing prospects in the poetic arts. The African Poetry Book Fund has been instrumental in publishing almost 200 African poets in the last decade. In academia, Professor Dawes has served in several capacities. He served as Professor of English and Distinguished Poet in Residence at the University of South Carolina from 1992 to 2012. As a commendation for service to the arts in South Carolina, he was awarded in 2008 with the Elizabeth O'Neill Verner Governor's Award, followed by a Guggenheim Fellowship for Poetry in 2012. Professor Dawes also served as a George W. Holmes Professor of English and Glenna Lusky Editor of Prairie Schooner at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, from 2011 to 2024. Currently, he lectures in the Master of Fine Arts MFA program at Pacific University, Oregon. He's also a professor of literary arts at Brown University. As one of the nation's esteemed poets, Professor Dawes is not without honor in Jamaica. In recognition for his outstanding contribution to the arts, he was awarded in 2004 the Musgrave Silver Medal. He was also bestowed with the Order of Distinction Commander Class by the Government of Jamaica in 2022, a testament to his profound impact on the nation's cultural and literary landscape. As a master weaver of the written word, Professor Dawes brings to the role of Poet Laureate of Jamaica a wealth of experience spanning over 3 decades, strong connections to the global literary community, and significant involvement in literary education and mentorship. His commitment to exploring themes central to the Jamaican experience, identity, resilience, and cultural heritage provides a vital framework for fostering both national pride and global recognition, inspiring a new generation of writers. With pride and joyful expectation, we welcome our new Poet Laureate, Professor Kwame Dawes. Poetry will prosper.
Well, we filled some gaps that we may not have known. But of course, that term you used, the master weaver of the written word, resonates. Thank you so much, Andrew Brodba, and of course, the team. And now it's time for the pinning and sashing of the Poet Laureate. The Honorable Stedman Fuller, Deputy Governor General, is taking his position. And we're going to ask the Poet Laureate momentarily to take his position as he looks on reflectively. I'm not certain what he's thinking at this time. I wish I could read your thoughts as you move forward for the pinning and sashing. If you look in your programs, you'll have a closer idea of what all of this looks like. Sturgetown, St. Anne must be very proud at this moment. Feeling it in the spirit, because we have the spirit. ADC Saharia is just assisting with this. Sometimes these things give a little bit of a something. Yes. So we can now say, ladies and gentlemen, Poet Laureate for 2025 to 2028, Professor Kwame Dawes. The photographers want their moment, so just stay right where you are for a few seconds. Thank you. And so while the Deputy G returns to his seat, Professor Dawes, you're not allowed to sit. You may put the canister down, but you're not allowed to sit. We need you here now for your response. Ladies and gentlemen, may I ask you to give Professor Kwame Dawes a warm welcome this morning of January 22, 2025. Ghana, Jamaica, and even more specifically, Sturgetown, St. Anne, coming to you in live and living color.
Good afternoon, or good morning still, yeah? Yes. By the way, I was pricked. It's like in my flesh right now, but I'm so stoic that it's not even making me flinch. That's how tough I am. All right, let me do the dutiful. Honorable Stedman Fuller, Deputy Governor General. The Honorable Olivia Grange, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport. I bow my head. Her Excellence High Commissioner Judith Slater, British Commissioner to Jamaica, Mr. Dean Roy Bernard, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Culture, Gender and Entertainment and Sports, Ms. Joy Douglas, Chairman of the Board of Management, National Library of Jamaica, Professor Emeritus Mervyn Morris, First, Poet Laureate of Jamaica, post-independence, Ms. Olive Senior, third Poet Laureate of Jamaica, post-independence. I'm a good friend, Justine Hensel, Chair of the Poet Laureate Committee. I'd like to begin with a poem because we are, as it happens, celebrating poetry. And this is a poem by a great Jamaican poet, a poem of great skill and beauty, and a poem that I've considered my lodestar as a poet, Acceptance by Neville Dawes. I praise the glorious summers of Pimento, sun purple, riper than the wet red clay smell of my youth by corn light and river run. As dog and I, we screamed the small green hill, and the salt smooth wind from the leaping sea sang in the yellow sunflower. I praise the dumb, scared child I was in coffee groves and the barbecues of graves, smelling of ghost old country flesh laid by my father for his tribe, fictitious as angels. A small, alone boy riding to harvest hymns in the green of the day as the shackle bell tongued on the churchy hilltop. I praise the legends we made. When the drunk hawks and worse were merry waltzed by the day, hallooed the mountains of birds and the nestling curve of the reeling river. Swam those eyes reading the first garden's blush and Adam's when weathers twisted the old thunder voice. I was King Arthur's irrelevant steed on the lightning page, castling all races, all men, the drunk hawks and worse, climbing together to the top of the colorless rain in the dappling sun. I praise all this, returning to a shower of mango blossoms, the creaking village, the old eyes, the graves, the sun's kiss, and lonely as ever, as the bare cedars, I walk by the stream where boys still plash, dusking and falling in the star-apple sunset, and find her there, ancient as the lost lands, bandanaed and gray and calling. Then I read the monumental legend of her love and grasp her wrinkled hands. At the heart of this poem is praise, and praise is the gesture of the poet that I want to honor this morning, the act of praise. The establishment of the office of the Poet Laureate of Jamaica is a gesture towards service. It recognizes the role of the poet in society and in the legacy of our great Jamaican poets who have year after year sought language to capture in some way the history of sentiment and experience in our time. I believe in our time and in their time. I believe poets, even beyond themselves, are chroniclers of their times. They are not historians in the strictest term, but do something even more critical. They leave evidence of the human feeling, the human imagination, the quotidian human life in the world. And if they allow themselves to do so, they chronicle the natural world that has shaped them. We know that society can conspire to silence and even erase the voices of whole swaths of humanity. We know that it is possible to leave a people bereft of their knowledge of who they are and where they have come from, to silence poets, to deprive poets of the freedom and the means to make poems and share poems is in essence to deprive society of its memory of its most intimate self, its most vital self. And I consider my role one of affirming this nation's desire to resist that erasure, to facilitate and make possible the room in which anyone caught in the dream and desire and compulsion to talk them talk, to articulate experience with the beautiful execution of language to remain available to them. So the goal is to affirm them, to honor them, and to ensure that we as a country learn from one part of our ancestral heritage of treating them as vital voices in our society, the griots and the singers. So I honor the Poet Laureates that have gone before me in this new dispensation, Lorna Goodison, Mervyn Morris, Olive Sr. These are people that I've respected for so long and who have taught me so much. And I'm grateful for those who fought to ensure that we will have this institution in Jamaica. I thank all who have continued to fight for this institution and for their success in making it happen. And I've formed a brilliant team of support team that will be working with me to achieve so many key goals in this role. We will celebrate poetry, remember the legacy of the poets, bring the gift of poetry to our people, and encourage our people to recognize that poetry is part of their everyday life. We will work hard to secure this institution for the future and to create lasting opportunities for poets to write, publish, and get better and better at their craft. Somewhere a poet should hear or read Jean Binta Breeze's brilliant poem, Rhythm Raven, when she say, no feel no way. Town is a place where I really can't stay. Them could ribbit me on, ribbit me toe. Me want go a country fi go look mango. And then they should say, yes, I want to do that too. Or agree with Lorna Goodison in her poem, Guinea Woman, that we must be the channels for our ancestral voices in this moment. But great-grandmother, I see your features blood dark appearing in the children of each new breeding, the high yellow-brown in darkening down. Listen, children, it's great-grandmother's time. Thank you all. I want to give a special thanks to my friend Justine Hensel, who has been a great advocate for this work, and together we'll continue to do marvelous things. Thank you, Dr. Lashley. Yeah. Thank you. One more thing. So my new boss is Beverly Lashley, so I'm looking forward to that excitement. And thank you all for coming. By the way, my sister, the great Adjoa Dawes, wanted me to thank her so that I can pronounce her name. And the J.E.C. man, them, give thanks.
We expected poetry and we got poetry. And you know, you just brought back my friend Jean Binta Breeze's memory in such a powerful way just now. And I looked on, I can't believe that Jean died on the 4th of August, 2021. Time certainly goes by quickly. That poem is just so hauntingly good, you know. Thank you so much. We're not quite done. Let me just say, you're looking at your program and you're saying, then why Faye didn't bring up the minister to make the presentation? Because she's going to be doing it at a later date. We have a framed copy of the citation for you, and the minister, as in Minister Grange, will arrange to have a special presentation done at a later date. Right. Dr. Kathy Brown, might I invite you up at this time? So Dr. Kathy Brown, many of us know her and her versatility. Today she's here in her capacity as solo artist, keyboardist, and she's going to be playing for us Babylon and African Celebration, a medley. Dr. Kathy enjoys every performance I've ever seen her do, whether she's with the University Singers or any group. And she's also a composer and an arranger and a medical doctor. She says, you hear that? I said, and a medical doctor. She says, sometimes. So clearly music has taken her over. Thank you so very much for sharing in this occasion. Thank you. Thank you. Just before I invite our national librarian to move the vote of thanks, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. We are very near the end. As soon as we've finished, after the vote of thanks, you'll have some closing remarks. There will be some photo opportunities with some very special people. So the first photo opportunity is with Professor Dawes and his family members, along with the Deputy Governor General. All three photo opportunities will have the Deputy Governor General in. The second photo opportunity is Professor Dawes and Minister Grange, along with the Deputy Governor General. And the third photo opportunity is Professor Dawes, P.S. Bernard, the chairman of the National Library of Jamaica, Miss Joy Douglas, and the National Librarian, Beverly Lashley. And when we're through, there'll be refreshments for you to take on the go, all right? So we have that. We know it's the morning and people might need to get back to their offices, etc. Or Justine might need to get back to St. Elizabeth, I don't know, right? Anyway, let me ask Madam National Librarian, Miss Beverly Lashley, to come now and move the vote of thanks.
It's still morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
The Honorable Stedman Fuller, CD, JP, and Deputy Governor General. The Honorable Olivia Grange, OJ, CD, MP, our Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport. Her Excellency, High Commissioner Judith Slater, British High Commissioner for Jamaica. Professor Kwame Dawes, CD, Poet Laureate of Jamaica, 2025 to 2028. Mr. Dean Roy Bernard, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport. Ms. Joy Douglas, CD, Chairman, Board of Management, National Library of Jamaica. Mr. Everton Hannon, General Secretary, Jamaica National Commission for UNESCO. Professor Emeritus Mervyn Morris, First Poet Laureate, Post-Independence, 2024 to 2027. Ms. Olive Senior, Third Poet Laureate of Jamaica, Post-Independence, 2021 to 2024. Ms. Justine Enzel, Chairman of the Poets Laureate Committee. Every memorable gathering begins with a vision and comes to life with the dedication and support of many. As we bask in the afterglow of today's ceremony of investiture, we're recognizing the fourth Poet Laureate of Jamaica post-independence, Professor Kwame Dawes. It gives me great pleasure to offer the appropriate thank you concerning this memorable event on behalf of the National Library of Jamaica, which is an agency of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport. We extend heartfelt appreciation to His Excellency, the Honorable Stedman Fuller, CD, and Deputy Governor General, along with your staff, this dedicated executive and the support staff for graciously opening the doors of King's House to host this event. Your continued support for the arts reminds us of the critical role that culture plays in shaping our nation. To the Honorable Olivia Grange, OJ, CD, MP, and our Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport, and P.S. Dean Roy Bernard is our Permanent Secretary, with the portfolio of culture and entertainment. And to all the team who assisted us with the planning of the ceremony of investiture, we are really grateful for the consistent support and guidance towards the initiatives of the National Library of Jamaica. To our distinguished Poet Laureate, Professor Kwame Dawes, who has named me as his boss, we extend sincere thanks for accepting the charge, sir. And the National Library of Jamaica and our parent ministry will provide full support during your tenure. We can assure you that, sir. A special thanks to our Masters of Ceremony, Ms. Faye Ellington, for skillfully steering the proceedings of this ceremony with grace. To those who provided entertainment, we had Dr. Kathy Brown, Mr. Britton Wright, and Tyler Buckner, and the team from Jamaica College. This was an element really of surprise for Prof. Dawes. Never expected that one coming, and we kind of geared the program that you would never have an idea that what was happening. I also want to thank the media team, media houses that are here, and J.E.C. especially for their guidance throughout the planning stage of this program. To the staff of the National Library, and especially our new special programs director, Ms. Francina Francis. Want to thank all the supporting entities and the individuals. We thank you immensely for your contribution towards the execution of a program which holds an important place in propelling the poetic arts. Of course, we have our management team. We have from the Board of Management and the Poet Laureate Committee. Want to thank Canon Father Allen, Ms. Joy Douglas, our chair, Justine Enzel and Andrew Brodber, those who played an integral role in getting this event on its way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your participation and committed support. And lastly, I want to thank all the viewers who are online because we're actually streaming it. So those of you who came late or want to review it again can look at YouTube. Yes, it's on YouTube streaming right now. So I want to thank you all for joining us. And let's keep the conversation of poetry going. Thank you.
Well, these are my closing remarks that I'm about to deliver. I think I'll take about a half an hour, so please. Have you looked at the breast star? Look at what is written about it. The insignia of the Poet Laureate of Jamaica is a breast star which consists of a circle of breadfruit leaves. That is just so special. But we don't know what kind of breadfruit. Now, I know you people believe I should not speak my Jamaican language at King's House. I have authority and permission so to do. It's my other language, and I do speak it. So it is right here. Look at it. It's really beautiful. There's no need for me to read the entire thing because you all have a program, right? When you get a chance, look at it. It really is, it's lovely. It's something special. Here are some notes. Can't help myself, when I think about the Calabash Literary Festival because I was there at the start. This year it's May 23 to 25. Am I correct, Ms. Justine? May 23 to 25. If you want to see Professor Kwame again in performance, I'm thinking he's going to be in performance, okay? Those are dates you need to bear in mind. All right, and that's down at Treasure Beach. You don't want to miss that. I want to just remind everybody that there are poets in the room, or tell you. May I see the hands of all the poets in the room? Yes, there's one at the back there with a camera. There's one there. Quite a number of Britons' hand is up. But shall I tell you, you perhaps are a poet and don't even realize it. Are there any songwriters in the room? Because if you write songs, see there? Kathy's a poet. She's a songwriter, a composer, and an arranger. And every now and again, I put something down on a piece of paper. I remember showing one such poem in about 1991 to Professor Mervyn Morris. Got a good encouragement too, you know. But when you write from your heart and your soul, right, Debbie? You write about what you see around you. You write about things you'd like to see changed. You write about things that resonate with you as things that are helpful and hopeful. So poetry is who we are, really. And maybe you are a poet. Perhaps you have scribblings, but you never thought of publishing. Join the Poetry Association of Jamaica. Get somebody to guide you. Read poetry. I don't know why in my head I'm thinking it was the singing. Professor Eddie Ball's poem, one of my famous pieces, is writing this thing about being at a church service and all of the different things that happen, all the malice where you have come up in your heart, but we're going like we're perfect in a church, but it come out in the singing and the stories associated with that funeral. When I think of Professor Morris's very short poems to do with Easter, I have that book still. I think of she's sitting right there, Olive Senior. Her poetry, and remember it was during COVID. What did she do? She published online. And then, of course, if you think of Olive Senior, you have to think of that heritage book. It's a go-to for me. You want to research something to do with Jamaica, history and heritage and culture? The Jamaica Heritage Book written by Olive Senior. So that's it for me right now. The last thing I want to say at this juncture is congratulations, Professor Kwame Dawes. We feel happy for you. I know you've been charged with what programs you will bring. We know they will come. And we are expected, all of us, to support and participate. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to invite Dr. Kathy Brown back here at this time. While the photographs are being taken, then we'll have some music, Dr. Kathy. And please, today is the 22nd. Can you imagine Christmas soon come? I'm telling you, I don't know where the year has gone. Minister, where has the year gone? Minister, where has the year gone? I mean, you still have to start planning fireworks on the waterfront again. Mercy. So we're going to arrange our photographs now, and thank you again for coming, every single person in this room. We really appreciate your presence. Walk good and tell the other one how to do. We can play. The first photographs, Professor Dawes and family members, along with the Deputy Governor General. Oh, you're doing this one first? You're doing this one first? Oh, yeah, all right, okay. Deputy Gigi. So we're just switching the order a bit. Yeah. So Minister Deputy Gigi and our new Poet Laureate. I'd like to see them looking at each other too, you know. Yes, man. Interact, look at each other. Fix them up nice, of course. These photojournalists are about to take off Professor Dawes' sister's head. You're good? All right. Family members are next. Thank you, Minister. Thank you. Douglas, P.S. Bernard. P.S. Bernard, Miss Joy Douglas, Beverly Lashley. Yes. Let me just get this little announcement out. May I have your attention?